Hi, my name's Diane. You're watching the Just Kidding Around show. Thank you so much for joining us. Today we are going to be working with food, in particular raw food. So you are invited to push the record button or possibly get some something to take notes with, because I think you're going to really like this show and you're probably going to want to participate, do this activity maybe later. And we are welcoming Britnee. Hi, Britnee.
Hello.
And she's been on our show twice before, I think. Mm-hmm. And she is a very experienced chef that works with raw food, right? Mm-hmm. So before we get started, can we say hi to some people out in the audience?
Again, hello to my family. They're very supportive.
Wonderful. And I'll say hi to Mr. Feeney and hi to the students at South Bay Elementary. So, and with that, like I said, you'd been on our show before, and didn't we make a raw pie once? Mm-hmm. Oh, that was so delicious, a chocolate pie. And once we made fettuccine. We actually made raw noodles. That was interesting. So what is it that what is this not tuna salad? What does that mean?
Well, in eating a lot of raw and living food, I found that having some sort of a heavy nut pate to put in with my salads or make wraps with, or even put on raw breads and that type of stuff is really helpful. And this one kind of resembles the taste and flavor of a tuna salad.
Oh, really?
Without the tuna and without the mayonnaise and that type of stuff.
So do you not eat any meat at all?
I don't.
I
do raw vegan. Mm-hmm.
So raw vegan. That sounds pretty strict.
Well, I did vegetarian for quite a while before I ventured into raw and living food, so it wasn't that difficult for me to transition.
So do you suggest people try vegetarian before they go raw vegan?
Whatever feels most comfortable with them, whatever, depending on where their diet is at this point when they first discover it. Some people go right in to it, raw and living food, vegan, and do great with it. So.
That'd be a big jump. And then how I know people are thinking probably, how do you get your protein?
Well, there's a lot of different ways to get your protein. Protein is present in greens. Dark greens like kale and spinach and other dark leafy greens really have enough protein to sustain you.
Is that right?
And other things adding like seaweeds and green powders and bee pollens, and there's a lot of stuff out there and a lot of research that's been done into getting your protein from alternative sources.
So you're seeing these greens right here. What is this? Is this?
That's parsley.
That is beautiful. Do you grow these things at home?
I do. These are not from my home, but we do grow lettuce and tomatoes. And
so do you believe in growing your own? Sounds like something from the 70s, but growing your own?
As much as you can, I mean, or locally produced.
Okay, buy local or grow your own. And that looks so healthy. That parsley is beautiful. That's why I asked if maybe you grew that, because it's just so green and so rich. And then this green is? That's
green leaf lettuce.
Okay. And so of all the things on that display, the one with the most green would be, with the most protein would be the greens. Mm-hmm.
And if other fruits and vegetables do have a small percentage of protein.
So everything has a little bit of protein, but nuts and greens would probably have the most. Okay, well, should we get started on our not tuna salad? Mm-hmm. Okay. And by the way, for people that are wondering, what is a pate?
Well, what I consider a pate is just something like a pureed type of like nuts. I use nuts and other seasonings, and you can spread it on crackers, raw crackers, or put in lettuce leaves. It's kind of just like a mixture, a flavored mixture.
Is hummus considered a pate?
It tends to be more thick. Hummus is a little bit. It could be considered a pate or a dip, whatever.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I may see how you're going to turn these sunflowers. Have you been soaking the sunflowers?
Yes.
Let me know how I can help. Do you need a lot of special tools to make raw
I
vegan?
have used a lot of stuff from when I was cooking traditionally, taking that on to doing raw living food. There are some special things that, like a food processor we use a lot of, or high-speed blenders, dehydrators, that type of stuff we use a lot more of than I think normal people. So I've soaked the sesame seeds overnight, and I'm just draining them of the water right now. And that nuts and seeds have an enzyme inhibitor, so that when they're falling straight from the bush or the tree, they're not instantly sprouting and growing. They hibernate basically through the winter.
Oh.
So
Oh, and they wait for the rains of spring or something?
yeah, so when you soak nuts or seeds, it releases that enzyme inhibitor, which allows your body to assimilate it easily and pre-digest it.
Ah.
So
then you need to soak it to get rid of, is that why we're
To-
soaking it?
to
get rid of
release
the enzyme
inhibitor.
Now, do you
Or growth inhibitor.
you don't wash them, you just soak them, right?
You soak them in water. If you're soaking them more than 8 hours or so, I would rinse them and put in new soak water.
Okay.
And I'm actually gonna rinse them a little bit
Can
now.
you soak them too little?
It's good. Seeds are around 4 to 6 hours. Nuts are more like 8 to 10 type
Okay.
of thing.
So what happens if you don't soak them?
Well, you can still eat them. They're just a little bit harder to digest for your body.
Harder to digest. And are they still considered raw if they're not soaked?
Yes, as long as they stay raw and they're
Now-
not roasted or.
If you did nothing with these now, these sunflower seeds that you've soaked overnight, would they start sprouting?
If I did nothing with them?
Yeah, if you just left them in the jar, we just walked away and came back in a week, would these be growing? Would they be sprouting, turning to plants?
I've never tried sunflower seeds, but I know you can do that with other types of seeds, like alfalfa seeds and buckwheat and that type of
So
stuff.
I would imagine these would start growing.
Very possibly. So I'm just gonna grind these up by themselves real quick in the food processor.
All right.
And you can
Is it stuck? Well, it looks like tuna salad from here.
Yeah.
It's just like tuna.
And you can grind this up a little bit more, or if you like it just like this, that can work.
Look, is it crunchy maybe or something? That's exactly like tuna.
So
Exactly.
I'm gonna just leave it like this. I
Okay.
kind of like it a little bit. And I'm gonna set this aside in a bowl.
And that was about a quart of sunflower seeds?
I would say about 1.5 cups to 2 cups before soaking.
Okay.
And they expand a little bit after soaked. So I'm just gonna put these in the bowl. I'm gonna use this food processor again.
It's just like tuna salad. And this is going to taste like tuna salad.
It's going to resemble it.
Sunflower
For sure.
seeds. Well, I remember that chocolate pie, you put avocados in it.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, that was good. So I trust you.
So I'm gonna set this aside. And now, just kind of prep the other parts of the recipe.
Let me get this totally out of the way.
And we'll be using it again, so.
Okay, well, still, in case the cameras want to get closer. Now, how did you get this recipe? Is this from a cookbook or?
Originally, I got this recipe from the school that I went to, the training program.
Oh, to become a chef. Is this one of their beginning recipes, or
Kind of, yeah.
is that what they start you out on? Then pâtés?
There's, well, pâtés and lots of other different things. There's lots of different ways to make different types of pâtés. You can use the sunflower seed base and add any type of seasoning that you want.
So it's a common base then.
And you can use other nuts and seeds. And
how has your health and your energy changed since you went from vegetarian to raw vegan?
I've definitely had more energy. I haven't been sick. Hardly even a runny nose.
Wow. But were you sick when you were a vegetarian?
I did actually get sick quite a bit.
When you were vegetarian. But now that you're raw vegan, you're not sick anymore.
I haven't been.
Oh gosh, I better knock on wood. I don't want to jinx you or anything.
So I just put about a fourth to a half a cup of parsley.
Okay, and parsley's supposed to have a lot of vitamin C too.
It's a very...
My guinea pig loves parsley.
I really like parsley. I like the taste of it. I use it in a lot of things.
And so before you were vegetarian, were you sick very often?
I did.
Okay, so you're a little bit healthier.
My immune system wasn't as strong.
So you got stronger and stronger as your diet got more and more raw.
My body was more resilient, I would say.
Yeah, because there's certainly opportunity all the time to catch something.
So I'm going to use about half of an onion.
Okay, quarter of a cup of parsley.
And half of a small red onion.
Okay, has to be red onion.
I prefer red onion. It's not as strong as the white onion, but you can use whatever you want.
Okay.
So I'm just going to, can I see the top to the food processor, please? I'm just going to kind of pulse this so it's kind of cuts the chopping out.
Oh, so instead of chopping by hand. But if somebody didn't have a Cuisinart, they could chop this by hand.
Yeah.
But they couldn't, if they didn't have some kind of a food processor, how could they do the sunflower seeds? How about a blender?
A blender usually has to have a lot of liquid to keep the...
So you absolutely would have to have a food processor then.
Or you could grind it by hand.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to add this to the sunflower seeds.
It's beautiful. Pure health. And this tastes good?
Yes.
Is it one of your favorite recipes?
It is. We make this a lot. I have three nephews, two that are eating solid food, and they love this. We make this a lot for them.
Oh, good. How do young children usually adapt to raw vegan?
Once again, it does depend on their diet before, and I think that you have to be really flexible with them and not push them too hard, because then they seem to kind of move back from it. I'm going to set this aside again, and I'm going to chop up a little bit of celery.
If you want me to do anything, just let me know.
Okay.
I used to work with a gal who was vegan. Her name was Ellen, and she had a beautiful little boy, so beautiful, Felix. And he was all vegan, just beautiful. I never saw Felix with a runny nose. Now, they weren't raw vegan, they were just vegan. But she and her husband, her son. So, and I should say hi to Ellen. Hi, Ellen.
Yeah, my nephews are
He's just so healthy, because most children, you used to see them with runny noses and allergies. And your nephews are real healthy?
They are. They're really healthy. They never get real sick. They have a lot of energy, but good energy that they're using in useful ways. So I'm just doing like a dice on the celery.
Okay. And what was that, 2 stalks of celery?
2 stalks of celery. And you can use more if you want. It's kind of a taste preference.
Now, do you buy organic celery? Do you buy all organic food?
I do buy all organic.
Do you believe that makes a difference in the taste of the recipes?
I do. I think that organic vegetables that have been grown, especially locally, have more flavor to them, more vibrancy. They're fresher.
Well, I would imagine they'd be healthier, but... I've heard before that some foods that have pesticides on them, some of them are affected more. And I've heard that celery's one. Does that
Yeah,
make
the
sense?
ones that have a higher water content
Okay.
and a thinner skin
Are the ones that are most important to
can
buy.
absorb more of the
So that's why strawberries are number one on the list, probably.
strawberries and things that, especially things that don't have a skin, like strawberries, because
Yeah.
it's just absorbed
So those
right in.
pesticides just, go right in there.
So I just added that. I'm gonna,
I bet are you gonna need this?
yes I am. This is a lemon rinder, and I find this very useful when
You use those a
getting.
lot, don't you? You brought it to
I use
every
it.
show.
I
you've
use it
had.
a lot. Yeah.
What, do you use lemons a lot?
I really like lemons. They're good flavor, balance flavor really well, with having the acid, but it's not too strong in a recipe.
Do you have lots of fruits and vegetables just sitting around the house? Do you leave them outside or do you refrigerate them?
Well, we kind of have a closet that is cooled by the outside that we keep all of our food
Sort
in.
of a pantry of sorts?
Yeah, but that only really works well in the winter time. So we do use a refrigerator. So I'm going to bring this bowl over here.
May I stir it?
Yeah.
This is a lot.
It does make a lot, and it didn't.
Wow.
And sunflower seeds are fairly inexpensive, so
Like how inexpensive about?
only about $2 or $3 a pound compared to
Oh.
almonds that can be up to $12 a pound if you're doing organic.
What do you think about somebody that wants to be part vegan and yet they can't give up? Like if they had a whole grain bread, could they put this on it
Yeah.
and make a sandwich out of it? So then they're at least eating a little better.
Yeah, every little bit helps.
Yeah.
You
This
don't
is a
have to-
huge amount. This could feed a family for a week probably, huh?
Yeah, I usually make a big batch and use it throughout the week in different things.
Do you do a lot of cooking on one day of the week, particularly?
If it works out.
Are you the only one in the family that cooks, or does everybody
No,
help?
everybody helps. Everybody has their own opinion of things, so. So that I just put a juice of one lemon. You can add more if your taste buds want you to. And two of the most important herbs in this recipe, dill and kelp.
Oh, okay.
Dillweed and kelp. And I'm gonna put a tablespoon of each.
Ooh,
So this is dill, and I'm adding a tablespoon of dill.
that's a lot of dill, isn't it?
It really is like the main flavor.
Okay. Did they give you a cookbook from your chef school, or how did that work?
We just had a folder with recipes that we had gone over.
Gosh, I'd love to have some recipes from that folder.
Well, you've learned a couple so far.
I know.
And this is the kelp. You can get this at local stores. It's a dried seaweed.
Very healthy for you.
Has a lot of minerals and kind of a fishy flavor. That's what gives it the tuna aspect.
Well, and some people use kelp. I went away last summer for 2 weeks and ate nothing but raw, and there was no salt, and we flavored with kelp, almost
Kelp
a
does-
salt kind of.
Yeah, kelp, a lot of sea vegetables, because they grow in salt water, have a salty flavor to them.
Now this is changing colors on us now. A little more green.
So I'm kind of crushing some coarse grain Celtic sea salt. It's the kind of salt that I prefer to use just because of the nutrient content. And I'm gonna put a half a teaspoon of salt. More if you need it.
You're using your measuring tools more. Our other shows, you've done a pinch of this and a pinch of that.
I'm trying to give people more of a... I don't usually use measuring tools just because I do it all to taste, but give people kind of a basis. And that's why you can go ahead and stir if you want.
Thank you. But if people didn't have a chance to write this down, they certainly can write in, and we'll make sure you get the recipe.
So there's lots of different ways you can use that, and that's the pâté. It's really simple. You can add almonds to that as the base. Sometimes I do that.
In addition, or no, as the base?
No,
Or
like in
part
addition.
sunflowers,
Yeah, part almond.
Why would a
part
person
sunflower.
want to do that?
It just adds a different flavor, different nutrients that are present in almonds and sunflower seeds. But you don't have to. I do it depending on my pocketbook and my time. I do it differently.
So sunflower seeds are more...
Yeah, sunflower seeds
economical.
we use in a lot of pâtés just because of the price
Okay,
of them.
and now what are we going to do with this pâté?
So, like I was saying, there's a lot of different things you can use or
Including?
do. One thing, you can put it just on a salad that you had with like a olive oil dressing. Actually, I'm going to add some olive oil
Like a
to
big green salad, and instead of putting a lump of tuna fish on it, put this on.
I'm going to add a tablespoon of olive oil. You don't have to. I think that it really helps to bind it and gives it. And another thing you can add to this that gives it kind of a edge to it is raw apple cider vinegar. And it kind of acts as like the mayonnaise would. But it doesn't.
In addition to the olive oil or instead of? Okay.
In addition. You can play around with it, with the flavors.
What else besides putting on a bed of lettuce?
You could wrap it in. What I'm going to do here is wrap it in a lettuce leaf with some veggies, like a sandwich kind of. Now plate that up so you can kind of see. Just kind of get the base.
Camera's trying to get that, so if you...
Do better over here.
Okay. There you go.
So the base of the lettuce leaf, and I take some tomatoes, and you can use whatever veggie you want to put on there, or nothing at all.
You just wrap the pâté in there.
So I cut up some tomato wedges, or you can dice them.
It's just so beautiful.
So I take a little bit of pâté, put it in the center, kind of like a sandwich. And then put some tomato on there, and you wrap it up like a sandwich wrap.
Oh, how beautiful. I bet the kids would just love that. That's just beautiful.
And you can make like tortillas or breads in your dehydrator if you want something that...
Will you come back and teach us about how to use a dehydrator sometime?
Yeah.
So can you make pocket bread with a dehydrator?
I've never tried. I haven't come across a pocket bread
But we could
recipe.
make a thin bread and wrap that, although that's beautiful just the way it is. And what a gorgeous thing to prepare for a company. It's just so much prettier than yeah, maybe I'll hold it still, the camera will get that. Oh, there it is. Oh, that's beautiful. Beautiful picture. It's just so bright and vibrant. I've heard that people that eat raw are more vibrant. Yeah,
They
because
kind of have a glow to
if
them.
you eat dull food, then you feel dull. And if you eat bright, vibrant food, you
are what you eat. It's
are
a
what
lot
you
of
eat. That's true. Oh, there's a lot to that. Well, you know, Britnee, it's time to wrap this up. So I want to thank you so much for coming.
you.
Are you going to come back again?
Yes,
All
most
right.
definitely.
So thank you so much. You're so
Thank you.
talented, and I love your food. And thank you for our fabulous, fabulous crew. We had Bob Giles today, and Jerry Julian, and Jim and Steve Elder, Bruce Tenney, and Tom Dubuque. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm going to say goodbye to Mr. Feeney and bye to Ellen Zito. Bye, Ellen. Bye, Felix.